Can you see them at all? Let's say, Linderbaum's out there at 25, and I know it's so against what the Bengals ever do to move up in the draft, but they do have draft equity. Mm-hmm. They do have extra picks. And I know that it's probably more likely that they move out of 31 than move up. But does any of your 7, do they move the needle enough to say 25, 26 get there? He's still available. Let's move up a couple.
I don't think they would use a pick in this year's draft to do it.
Yeah.
But what could they use a pick in next year's draft to do it? That would be the thing. What's the price?
Right.
I think it's highly unlikely. Would I do it for Linderbaum? I would, because people ran it and raved about this kid for months.
Yep.
And then everyone knew his arms were going to be short anyways. He gets a foot injury against Kentucky in the Citrus Bowl, doesn't test, and now he's just going to be the end of the first round. Like, that's fine. Sign me up. By the way, Creed Humphrey should have been a top 20 pick last year, probably top 15. The Bengals are bozos because they didn't take him 46th overall. Sometimes the NFL overthinks center. So that would be a guy for sure that I would consider moving up for.
I don't evaluate the arm length a lot at the center position. I think at tackle, it's a legitimate concern for different players, but at center, you're not on an island. And for whoever the Bengals center, if it is him coming in, you got 2 proven guys at guards that aren't going to leave you on that island. So it's not like you got to have the longest. You just got to be strong with your punch, and you've got to be that nasty. And we've heard the glass eater comment all the time in the offseason,
and he's nasty. Linderbaum's nasty.
I'm not concerned with arm length when it comes to a center. If we're talking about a tackle, a franchise tackle, then I could see some validity to that. But I'm not concerned when it comes to a center because of what's around him.
So you would trade up? Would you consider trading up for Linderbaum or one of these other guys?
I would consider, because you're drafting very uniquely this year, and there's not the guy that you have to go get. If I'm sitting back there at 23, 24, 25, and there's a guy that I love, I mean, we've seen a lot of these prospects are moving up. It doesn't cost you much in the draft. Mm-hmm. You talk about, okay, I'll give you our 4th round next year so we can swap 6 picks here. Yeah, I would do that, because I think this team's in a very unique situation that if you think you get a day 1 starter added into the team you already have, then you're right back to contending for what you did last year. I mean, the question that I go into the draft, are the Bengals better right now than they were when they played in the Super Bowl? I think they are. Mm-hmm. So is there another piece that can help right away? And if so, then go get them.
And the other part of that, and I like that logic, to me, it doesn't just apply to the first round. It applies to the 63rd pick, the 95th pick, the 126th pick. I think I did the math right. It might be 136th pick. It's 136. Getting your guy is more important. They have 8 draft picks than having 8 new bodies. The 8 guys they draft, if they just stay where they are, not all 8 are making the roster. It's just not happening.
Correct.
5 might. And so if you could package both 7ths and the 6th to move up to, to get a mid 5th round pick or a late 5th round pick and get the guy you want, and I'm just spitballing here, then I think you do it, because I would much rather get the guy that's falling than not.
Yeah. And it happens every year, because I'm watching the draft every year and I'm like, wait a second, they moved up that far and they only gave that up?
Yep.
I mean, and again, I know there's the outliers that sometimes you hit a home run in the 6th round. Sometimes you hit a home run in the 7th round. But more often than not, and what the Bengals have done really well lately, that 2, 3, 4, those mid rounds, they've been really solid. And they found a lot of talent in those middle rounds that are going to continue to pay off for this team going into next year. I know it's not the Bengal way, but did anything they really did last year and this offseason encompass the Bengal way of old that we knew? I mean, this is a new thinking team. Mm-hmm. Zach Taylor he wants to get his guys. And, you saw that last year. And again, if someone's sitting there at 24, 25, and it cost me a 6th and 7th round pick, I'm all right with it.
Yeah. And it might be a 4th and a 6th and a 7th, it might be multiple. Okay. It might be a 3rd. It might be.
Right.
But again, the 95th pick, let's just say it's a 3rd this year.
Yep.
If you get a plug and play center and you're giving up the 95th pick in the 31st pick, Hard for me to turn that down, right? Because of the on-field impact it's going to have.
Because they have so few needs. Mm-hmm. So you don't need 8 new players this year. You might need 1 or 2 that can come in and play right away. And then you feel like you got a really good chance to get back to the Super Bowl. That's why it's different. We're not drafting. Last year's draft, as great as it was to get Jamar Chase, everything mattered because you were coming off a 4-win season. Mm-hmm. So you had a lot of holes to fill. Where are the holes this year? Where are the glaring needs? And again, if you can get another O-lineman or a corner that you think right away can impact this team, that's worth adding depth. Or, and no offense to Darren Simmons, it's worth adding or taking away what may have been a special teams player drafted in the 5th round.